So, okay, ever since you became a Bitcoin millionaire.
That's not true, for OPSEC reasons.
For OPSEC reasons, he's a Bitcoin thousandaire.
I don't have any Bitcoin. If the IRS is listening, it's all, I lost it in a boating accident. This is YouTube, there's no cuts.
You're YouTube.
Hey, Percocet. Molly Percocet.
Represent.
Gotta represent.
Okay.
Mask off. Fuck it, mask off. We're tasting wines today.
I come to the studio in Vegas and Tom's like, I brought some bottles of wine. And I'm like, Tom, you don't know about wine. I know about wine.
He does.
And the reason I know about wine is when I was your age, roughly 30, I started getting a little bit of money because I started becoming a doctor and stuff. And I was like, I live in Cali. I want to get into wine. And you know what's interesting though about wine? It's pretentious.
Yeah.
Also, it's science. So the making of wine is such a deep scientific process because it involves a mix of the science of the earth and the viticulture and the fermentation process and the yeast and all that, but it also involves this kind of art and feel of the land and expression of the earth. So it's this perfect synthesis of that. So that's why I think a lot of nerdy people like yourself like wine.
It reminds me of this rapper from Sonoma County.
Of course it does.
Little viticulture.
Oh, Lil Vine? Yeah, I know
You know
him.
Little V?
Lil V, yeah.
Little viticulture.
He's like, I put your ass on oak.
Z said a bunch of fancy wine words. What I do, I go to the supermarket and I buy something that is a lot of money. Like, so this bottle was like 60 bucks. So I was like, it's gotta be good, because they got wines there for $6. So this one's 10 times better than those wines. That's how I do the math.
It's a good math, little safety tip, it's bullshit.
Okay, I'm gonna open this one.
You're gonna be raped by that wine because you overpaid at a supermarket that doesn't store their wines very well typically, and you based it on price, which is a terrible idea for wine because in general, the price doesn't directly correlate to the quality in most cases. What I like
Not
to do,
all of us are horticulturists, you know? Think about it.
I use something called Cellar Tracker, which is cool because you can scan the barcode and then see what other people said, normal people said about the wine. And I find anything over 90 points on Cellar Tracker usually does pretty well for most people.
All right.
All right, you're gonna open that.
I don't want to fuck up this cork because all of YouTube is watching me.
Don't fuck it up. No, don't choke! Woo-woo! He did it until he spills it everywhere on me. There it is. All right.
You guys smell the cork, I know that.
You don't, but that's why when the waiter gives you the cork, that's just the most pretentious thing. It's like, you know what I did once? The waiter gave me the cork and I was like, and I bit the cork in half and I spat it onto my plate with my bread.
Honors.
This is a Gallo, which, of course you bought a Gallo. It's not the most reputable brand for high-end wine.
This was the most expensive wine at the Albertsons, so you're welcome, America.
So let's pour this. Now the thing about wine, especially red wines, is this is the first they've been really exposed to a large amount of oxygen since they were bottled, right? And as a result, they change instantly when they're exposed to oxygen. The complexity of the wine emerges when it's oxidized, when oxygen reacts with the stuff in it. So when you pour it, you really want it to ideally see a lot of oxygen in the process. So don't overfill your glass. Fill it up about this much so that you can do this, what we're about to do.
So you want to splash it when you pour it, is what
Not splashy, more like let it expose to air on the way down. And that's what a good, whoa!
Yep.
Good decanter does.
This is really exposed there.
You know, at the end, if we have enough wine, I'll be drinking that with a straw.
Zubin taught me this trick.
A paper straw from California.
He was like, you know, you have to, we were at dinner in Napa Valley. We weren't there. We were in the Bay Area. And he was like, you know, you have to aerate the wine. And it means swirl. You have to swirl it.
That's how you do it if you're a bull in the china shop like Tom, because it keeps you from tipping it over. But when you get decent at it, you can swirl it, you know, in your glass. And this is you need the right glass. So for a red wine, you need a big bowl.
We gotta examine the color.
You look at the color. You can look at the legs, which are an indication of alcohol content. The more alcohol in the wine, the thicker the sort of streams on the side. Those are called legs. Really doesn't matter that much. It's just a sense of, oh, nicely done. And by swirling it, you expose it to air, but you also cause the wine to coat the side of the glass, which allows it to evaporate in a beautiful bouquet. Then you stick your big ass nose. Many people think is Jewish, but it's not. It's a Zoroastrian nose. Huh.
What do you think? What do you think about this wine?
I think...
The fanciest wine at the supermarket.
I'm honestly concerned. It smells a little vegetal, meaning a little bit like green peppers, which I often don't like in a Cabernet. It often implies that it isn't ripe. Now, I may just be wrong. It may not have opened up. Or maybe that we're in a studio that smells like formaldehyde and it's poisoning our ability to smell.
Peppers, huh?
Yeah, that's what I smell. Green peppers. Yeah, green peppers. And alcohol.
I smell wine.
The next step is to taste the wine. Now, don't just drink it.
Okay.
Chew on it like a steak. The whole time pulling air over it, getting that bouquet. So smell,
I feel ready.
Sip. Yeah, let's do this.
It's pretty good. What do you think?
It's better than I thought. I'll tell you what I taste.
By the way, this is how snobs say they like it. You're like, it's better than I thought. I came in here expecting pure trash. Garbage.
And I got 70% garbage.
Do you know when
recycling.
Do you know when you go get the bag from a McDonald's dumpster and you cut the end of it and you pour the juice right in your mouth? That's what I was expecting. But what I got was wine.
So there's something called tannin in red wine. It comes from the skin of the grapes.
Yes.
The tannin preserves the wine. It actually acts as a kind of a preservative.
Some of us call them
age.
tannins, but continue.
Tannins are also in things like tea. I think that's where it might have come from. I forget. Or the tanning stuff they use. I forget where the origin of it is. The dirty downside of that with tannin is it can cause that mouth puckering experience you get with red wine, where it kind of coats the mouth and that kind of thing. This wine's tannins are kind of coarse and puckery. A very fine wine has tannins that are silky. You can sense they're there. They provide structure to the wine, but they don't cause you to go. Now, it might be that this wine was improperly stored by the
supermarket.
By the supermarket.
Albertsons.
By Albertsons. At least you didn't get it from like Albertsons.com or something.
Do you know where most Americans get their wine from?
Where?
Take a guess. I bet you could guess it.
A supermarket?
Take a guess.
7-Eleven?
Costco.
That makes sense. Costco is the number
more wine
one.
than
Yes,
anybody.
that's true. That is absolutely true. This is very drinkable. You can drink the whole thing, but before this started, we had a little other wine. How would you compare that wine to
So
this
we
one?
had like a French wine.
Yes. A Pinot, a Burgundy. Premier Cru, high-end wine.
That one was better.
Yeah.
This one, you can tell that it's like tart, is how I would describe it.
Got it. And that's
Yeah.
probably that tannin that you're tasting. So the difference isn't partially in the tannins, in the balance of the wine, and in the complexity. So do you get that sense of depth and change in the wine that...
No.
Not so much.
Very one note.
And a lot of, believe it or not, and people will take offense at this, a lot of California wines are criticized for that because they go for this overripe, fruity kind of very heavy-duty wine that doesn't pair that well with food because it's so overpowering and it's very one note. The French get criticized for their wine tasting like dog shit when you don't pair it with food because it has the right acidity and the complexity that it really opens up when, you know, had with a meal and part of this sort of interaction with other humans, which is how you really want to enjoy wine. It's an experience.
Okay, how does one pick a wine when they're unwilling to go anywhere that's not the supermarket?
So if you go to the supermarket, and this is not hard. It's not hard actually.
Listen, I'm not like you, okay?
You're better than me.
I'm not sophisticated, all right? I'm just looking to go to the supermarket, buy some wine, then I drink it at home, and I go like this.
You know what you are? You're a horticulturist of the highest degree.
It's true.
Go to the supermarket, bring your Cellar Tracker app, scan some barcodes of classes of wine you like. You like Cabernet, you like Pinot, you like, and read what it says. And you'll find that the people have spoken, and they're usually right. Don't listen to what Wine Enthusiast says or Wine Spectator or these reviews. They can guide you a little, but generally I found them to be very misleading because these people have weird palates. And I suspect there's a lot of financial conflict.
Plus they're winos.
They're all drunks.
Think about that.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You taste wine for a living?
Yeah.
Maybe you should sit in a 12-step program like Tom does and say, are you in a 12-step program? You should be.
Don't you think it's interesting that there are different levels of alcoholism? Like there's an alcoholic that's like sleeping on the park bench with the brown bag, and then there's an alcoholic who's like, you know, we did several tastings last weekend. and they were very good.
I'll never forget. I was listening to a what the fuck is the NPR station in San Francisco?
KNPR.
KNPR. Was it?
I don't know. I don't live there.
Douchey McKay NPR McLiberal crap, and they had a 3-person panel and they were talking about Napa wines.
Yeah.
And one person on the panel, I think it was the journalist, said, well, you know, the tricky part about Napa is you worry about alcoholism and fatalities of people driving. And the other 2 wine experts were like, no, there's none of that. Oh, come on now, you're being alarmist. That's called what we in the business call denial.
Denial, yeah.
Denial.
100%.
So it's true, like people who are really into wine, you do worry about that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I was really into wine, it was in my late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
I was suffering. Like I was a resident and an early attending. I was stressed, trying to start a family, doing all this. And if
alcohol cured it.
Alcohol made it feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Because
it turns all your bad feelings into good feelings.
And if you can rationalize it as, well, the tannins are a bit puckery, so I need another glass to try to make sure that they loosen up.
Sir, I brought your heroin needles on a silver platter. And then at the low end, it's like Percocet, Molly Percocet. How much do you spend on a bottle of wine? Give some practical tips to the people.
When I was your age,
because you're sophisticated,
I would search for wines that were in the $15 to $20 range that I could buy 3 or 4 of and really feel like I got a value. So I would hunt those down.
What do you do now?
Now
that you're rich.
Now what I do is I shoot in the $50 to $70 range, and if and then I
$62.
There you go, but I would have to. Now this one, Cellar Tracker gave a 90 from 5 reviews. That's pretty good.
It's a motherfucking 90, bitch.
That's actually legit.
Percocet.
And like I said, it's a good wine.
Molly Percocet.
I don't think it's a good value.
Hey.
So at $60, you can get a transcendent one.
Listen.
Did you just shit your phone out of your... It's amazing.
I'm not trying to go for the value taco of wine. I'm just trying to get some wine, bro.
You know what?
And if it has a markup at the local Albertsons, so be it, you know? I don't live in Sonoma County, okay? I'm not from there.
It's a fruit-forward, highly tannic wine with vegetal overtones that doesn't taste like it's ripened.
I'm gonna say that this wine tastes nutty. Let me go again. Medjool dates.
You want to hear what the people on Cellar Tracker
What
said?
do they say?
All right. Straight out of the bottle, dark ruby, sharp, dark berries on the nose, a bit tart to the taste. You said tart.
I said tart. Look at me tasting wines, bitch.
Now listen to this. Decanted for half an hour and it really opened up, though not as big and bold as most Napa cabs, I agree. That said, we love this bottle and are happy we have a few more.
Gallo. Making the best wines for average
Chickity Gallo!
I did say tart, and a guy on the internet said tart too, so.
And this guy says, second bottle from the case. I think this will be really nice after laying down a few years. Like I said, those tannins provide structure and age softens them and integrates them.
This is what real wine people do, right? They buy a case of something they think they're gonna like.
Yep.
And then they'll open a bottle like each year.
Yes.
And be like, is it any good?
Exactly.
And then the year when they feel like it's peaking or whatever.
Right.
Then they'll drink the rest of the case.
That's right. Now I want to say one other thing, man, to wind that up. Real wine people is fucking bullshit. Anyone can enjoy wine. It's like the movie Ratatouille. Anyone can cook. That's what Gusteau said. And this little rat becomes a fucking amazing cook.
This is what rich liberals always do this. They're like, listen, you can enjoy wine too. It's okay for you. But then they judge you for drinking Gallo that you bought at the supermarket. You know what I mean?
This is great, Tom. Very quaffable.
And my tasting notes were fucking good. You heard me say tart. You guys heard me say medjool dates. You heard me say nutty.
You know
Those
what?
are all specific tasting notes.
This is the thing. Tom could have left that review on this app. I'll just let you think about that.
I left it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Tannin for life, bitch.
Percocet.
Molly Percocet.
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 Molly Percocet.
Smoke weed every day.
Yo.